Hey guys, meteorologist Chris Tomer here with this Tuesday evening mountain weather update. Lots to talk about here. I want to start with some live cameras and absolutely just getting crushed up here at Aspen, Snowmass, the West Oaks, as expected. Definitely one of my bullseyes. This is Aspen Highlands. 2 feet of snow essentially at this point, and it's still coming down. It will snow all the way through the night and into tomorrow across a lot of the elks. So, I talked about places like Irwin potentially getting 40 to 50 inch grand totals. That may actually play out. We'll have to see. Let me go to Vale. And so it's still snowing up at Vale. They've got at least a foot. I mean, it's probably well over a foot now up in Vale, but that's another place that's going to be ending up between probably 20 and 25 inches as far as the grand total up there at the Vale area. Now let's go talk about Utah. All right, this is the cam out of Solitude, and this is up in Big Cottonwood. You can see the snow still coming down there, and we picked up several inches of snow at Solitude and Brighton. But the interesting part is what's happening one canyon to the south. Over in Little Cottonwood, not nearly as much accumulation, but we're still seeing some snow and it's still coming down even right now. It's just been harder to accumulate. And I will talk about why it's been a little more difficult there to really crank out snow. But one of the pluses is that now it looks like the snow is going to last longer, that the flow is going to continue to last into tomorrow. Whereas I thought it might cut off pretty early on the 27th. It may last longer into the day tomorrow. So here's radar. Okay, Colorado. So you can see the snow here in blue. A lot of it's hidden from the mountains because the beam can't pass through, but it's snowing a lot up there. And again, there's heavy snow upstream of this, and I'm going to show you the Utah right there. I mean, look at this. This is heavy snow that's slamming into the Wasatch right now. So you've got storm snow and you've got orographic snow. The combination is what's going to keep this going, and I think we're going to accumulate several more inches up there through Alta Snowbird, Solitude, Brighton, Park City, Deer Valley, Snow Basin, Powder Mountain. All those places have several more inches to go with this type of flow. And then this surge of moisture right here will now slide down into Colorado overnight into tomorrow. We're still in deep moisture, as I'm going to show you in Colorado tomorrow morning. Here's the lay of the land, and this is water vapor satellite imagery. So your moisture aloft, the key here is going to be in the whites and the blues, and you can see where the moisture is coming from here. It's all being funneled in, and it's moving through. You can see some of the blue banding right here over the top of the Wasatch right now. I showed you that on radar, and you've got some of that over Colorado. So this flow is going to continue to hammer these areas overnight tonight and tomorrow. That's a very moist flow. That's the final count, the final part of this atmospheric river setup. With this is the last storm of this storm cycle, and it gets much quieter after this. But this is a pretty good piece right now of this final storm system. All right, here are my bullet points. So we have a southwest flow problem over the top of Little Cottonwood Canyon right now. Typically doesn't do particularly well with this southwest flow, and it's really been a kind of a struggle today. But you go up to Big Cottonwood, up even just north of there, they're doing fine. And as this flow kind of shifts more towards the west, then the accumulations will pick up in Little Cottonwood. So I still think we have several inches of accumulation yet to go. And the snow will continue into 1127, so the duration is going to be a little bit longer. Now in Colorado, seeing the bullseyes play out, West Elks, from Crest Butte up to Irwin over to Snowmass, Aspen, that whole area is going to be at 2 to 3 feet of grand total accumulation. And a lot of the high bowls are going to be in that 3 foot range. So this is going to be a really deep snow with certainly high avalanche danger on this one. A lot of warnings in effect up there for that. In the Northeast, all this energy comes out of Colorado and then moves into the Midwest and develops into a storm system for the Northeast, 1128 and 1129. And I was talking about the deep moisture. Let's go to Colorado. This is your time height forecast for snow mass. And I mean, it just continued to get clocked there with deep moisture. This is a humidity forecast next 72 hours through all the vertical layers of the atmosphere. Timelines at the bottom. You read that from right to left. So the deep green, the wall of moisture is still there all night tonight, tomorrow morning, and it's not until the afternoon hours when dry air starts to cut in at the higher levels and starts to make this and starts to put an end to this. And there's still even moisture there tomorrow afternoon. I mean, if you're really honest, I mean, you can see the green there even tomorrow afternoon. So we still have a lot of accumulation yet to go in Colorado. And this is specifically for snow mass. All right, here's the forecast radar and satellite. So that's 5:30 this evening. You can see where the snow is in blue over parts of Wyoming, the Wasatch, the high Uintas, and all of Colorado. And there's even some leftover snow on the backside through a lot of Nevada and even California. So let's move this into the future. And there it is by tomorrow morning. A lot of the emphasis is shifting out, but it's still snowing over the Wasatch. But a lot of that energy has moved into Colorado, keeping it going there, and then that moves away, and then we're done with it. And then the flow really shifts, and it becomes much, much quieter all the way into the early days of December. I mean, all the activities really up into BC, and even in BC, it's at the higher latitudes, northern BC. I mean, there's 12.3 and there's 12.4. Okay, my latest numbers look like this. So, rest of tonight through tomorrow. Let's talk about the Wasatch for a second. So, I've got potentially up to 8 inches of snow yet to go between tonight and tomorrow. I think that's possible. Um, that may be a little bit high, not sure, but it's possible. I think we could still see up to 8 inches um, through basically tomorrow. Now downstream in Colorado, we still have a lot of snow yet to go, and in many cases, 6 to 12 inches of additional accumulation. That's on top of what we've already got. So some places could still see another foot, like over there in the Elks around Snowmass, Aspen, Crested Butte, those areas. Potentially another 6 to 10 up there in the Continental Divide around Loveland A Basin, Winter Park down into Summit County, even the southern mountains of Colorado. And like I showed you on this time height forecast for humidity, we're locked in to this wall of moisture with lots of lift through all of the layers over the top of these high peaks all the way through tomorrow morning. And it really doesn't dry out, even in the upper levels, until the afternoon hours tomorrow. So we're in it for a while. Here's the second period, and it's like everything just disappears. It's much drier. Maybe some light snows up in the northern tier through Montana, but it's all up in BC and parts of Canada, 1128 through 12.5. All right, let's do an update on the Northeast. So the numbers they've ticked up maybe 10%, 20% since the last update. Looking at about 8 to 14 now, 8 to 14 inches for Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine at the major ski areas. Snow Ridge could see a foot. It's amazing to see that number just drop. And a lot of it, has to do with the storm, but also the flow behind it. You have to have a very specific wind direction to crank out big lake effect snows. So, it's a matter of degrees. But that's my latest outlook for the Northeast, and that storm system's 1128 into 1129 for the Northeast. But still going to be great skiing up there on the 29th because this is some good snow up in that area. Okay, let me just go back to the map. We'll end on this for tonight. Again, additional snow from tonight through tomorrow. It's mainly in Utah and it's mainly in Colorado. Be safe out there with all these avalanche warnings in effect. Be safe, have fun, and thank you for tuning in here. Take care.